Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear. The podcast. atomradio.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to episode 155 of the best bits of Atom Radio's Breakfast Show podcast. First week done after a week off, which means I've now spent a bit of time dredging and I've found some least worst bits to put out in this best bits podcast as well. And of course, here we are heading into half term as well, and a week off, or in some cases 2 weeks. And I realise that means that some people won't be bothered next week to get up and listen because they'll have a lie-in. And that is quite sad because, I mean, you'll miss out on so much. But, you know, each to their own. On the way in the podcast this week, pointless statistical discoveries, inappropriate seasonal weather, a very stupid council prosecution, things you cannot get the hang of, and in doing so embarrassing your other half as well. An Insulate Britain protester tied up and got what he deserved. And was it really better back in the day? atomradio.co.uk 9 minutes to 7 o'clock. Morning and welcome to Monday. It's Mark Denholm on breakfast on atomradio.co.uk. Discovered over the weekend, COVID has made us more miserable than ever before, with official figures showing Britain's well-being plunged to the lowest level in a decade after the pandemic hit. Wonder how much time and money went into discovering that statistic. Official figures from the National Statistics Office have actually revealed that. But to be fair, I don't imagine that would have taken much time or money, or indeed what I should say is I don't think it should have taken much time or money to realise common sense.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
It's Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio. 8:16. We're online, we're on mobile, we're on smart speaker on atomradio.co.uk, TuneIn, Radio Box, Streamer, smart speaker and iTunes Radio. Good luck to you if you are heading out on the school run right now. That's one of the massive benefits of doing this, is you start at 6, you do not see school run traffic as long as you then finish at 10. All is well.
Mark Denholm. atomradio.co.uk.
Morning then, and welcome to Tuesday. Mark Denholm at breakfast at 6:45. Do you like snow at Christmas? What about Halloween? Potential of snow for Halloween. Forecasters warn Atlantic storms will bear down on Britain. North winds later this week will bring a wintry chill. We could have gale force winds, torrential rain, and potential snow at Halloween. I thought Halloween was all about ghouls and ghosts and trick or treat. Snow is for Christmas, surely.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
A driver has been fined for being in a bus lane after cameras picked up what Bath Council believed to be his registration number. David and Paula, who live in Surrey, own a vehicle with the registration Kilo November 19 Tango Echo Romeo KN19TER. They received a fixed penalty notice from Bath Council for driving in a bus lane. However, neither of them have ever been to Bath. When they looked at the supplied photographic evidence, they've spotted that the actual offender in the bus lane is a lady in a sweater with the word knitter printed on it, KNITTER. The AMPR has then automatically identified that as David and Paula's registration number and issued them with the £90 fine. This does go on to say, however, thankfully Bath Council saw the funny side and agreed to waive the fine. How could they not? They've got no evidence. No crime was committed. Imagine taking that to court with that being your evidence. Today, though, however, I ask, what has been the worst case of mistaken identity that you have ever suffered? Like this couple's car registration number got misidentified. Worst case of missing identity you've ever suffered. On air at atomradio.co.uk.
Mark Denholm.
Do you know what? I absolutely have to start with this. Hopefully your Wednesday will go better than that of a man in Windsor who was splattered in his garden by human waste that fell from a plane. I do hope your Wednesday, your hump day, goes better than that man. It happened fairly centrally in Windsor in mid-July and covered not only the man, but the whole of his garden and his umbrellas. By that, I guess he means sun umbrellas. But anyway, if your Wednesday doesn't go that bad, then I think you can call it winning. Morning, I hope you're fine, fitting well. It is Mark Denholm, loud, proud, and standing out from the crowd.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Today, though, I want to talk to you about self-evaluation, right? It is just for fun, okay? So don't be getting down on yourself. It's just for fun. What it is the other night I was talking to a lady who is not only a friend, but is an absolutely amazing, the best ice hockey match night coordinator. I'd go as far as to say in the world, but certainly in the NIHL. Amazing lady called Kate. And we were talking and it kind of got slightly off track, and we ended up maybe suggesting that Kate and I could form a cheerleading troupe, until we realised that between us, we don't have a right foot. We're all left feet, me and Kate together, right? And I'll be honest, right, and I can't speak for Kate here, but I'll be honest with myself. I can't dance, okay? I just can't. Like, I've DJ'd all my life. I'm more than able to identify beats and that. It's just coordinating movements of my body in a stylish way to those beats that has defeated me my whole life. And therefore, inspired on by this conversation with Kate, I've realised and remembered that there's no way I could possibly ever be a cheerleader because I just can't dance in any way whatsoever. The self-evaluation today comes in, no matter how hard I try, I cannot. So I'm looking for you, things that you cannot do, right? On air at atomradio.co.uk. So for me, no matter how hard I try, I cannot dance. What's yours? No matter how hard I try, I cannot.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
We have a frustrated from type email here. Frustrated from Windsor, actually. Morning, Michelle. I hope you are very well. She says, can I nominate my husband instead rather than go with something myself? Well, you've asked a question and you've done it anyway without waiting for an answer, Michelle. I'm just joking. Of course you can, though. Michelle says, no matter how hard he tries, my husband cannot assemble flat-packed furniture, and it always ends up coming down to me. I bet he's going to be so... I know you've not named him, Michelle, but I bet he's going to be so happy should he be listening to this and hear this. No matter how hard he can, my husband cannot assemble flat-packed furniture.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
And Neil emails. Morning, Neil. Thank you for your email. On air at atomradio.co.uk if you want to get involved. Neil emails and says... No, at least his email's written better than I'm reading it. What it actually says is, no matter how hard I try, I cannot go and do the shopping and come back with absolutely everything we need, even though I always write a list and I think, right, I've got everything. It's only when I'm unpacking it, when I get home, I then realise, we needed whatever. I think that happens to everyone though, Neil. I mean, I don't write a list and it happens to me, and it's my own fault for not writing the list.
Mark Denholm. AtomRadio.co.uk.
Morning, welcome to Thursday. Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio at 6:15. Cheryl in Speed makes the news. She's the lady who nudged the Insulate Britain climate protesters who were sitting on the road on the north side of the Dartford crossing. After stopping just centimetres, she got out of the car, ripped the banner out of their hands, told them to move out the way, and then nudged them. I do think the best thing, though, is video emerged yesterday of one Insulate Britain protester being dragged off the road with his backpack on his back still, dragged off the road and tied to the railings at a crossing with his own Insulate Britain banner. Now that did bring a smile to my face when I saw it.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Morning then, this is Atom Radio on atomradio.co.uk, TuneIn Radio Box, Streamer, Smart Speaker and iTunes Radio. Shout out the football fan who is a hero. He was papped carrying 48 pints in one trip and didn't spill a drop. That's amazing, isn't it? Some people can't even carry one without spilling a drop. This guy managed to carry 48 at a football match and was caught on camera doing it as well. Well done, sir. Top work.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Today, I ask, what was better in our day than it is nowadays in terms of our children's day? Or, if you want to flip it round the other way, what's better now than it was back in our day? Either way, which way around, you can get in touch on air at atomradio.co.uk. And I have to say, Mick is the first one in today, and I can't deny a word that Mick has said, because Mick says, surely music was better in our day than it is now.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
The other way round, morning Joanne. Joanne says, I reckon kids of today have it so much easier in terms of learning, because we had to go to the library and look in encyclopedias and that. Kids of today have Google, which is so much more powerful than any encyclopedia ever would be. And that's true. The other thing, Joanne, as well is, do you remember when you were at school and you asked, like, you know, what's 5 add 7? And your teacher would always say, you won't always have a calculator in your pocket, will you? Look at your phone, your iPhone, your Android. Now we do. So I suppose that is easier.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Kelly says television was definitely better in our day. Even though there was less choice, there was more quality. And it wasn't all the reality trash that we have now.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
And Neil says, I think a lot is better now in our children's day than it was in our day. And Neil goes on to give some examples. Neil says, when I grew up, my parents lived in Windsor, my grandparents lived in Yorkshire. Therefore, we didn't get to see them that often. Whereas nowadays, we could have had FaceTime, we could have had Zoom, which isn't the same as an actual face-to-face, but at least we would have actually seen them on the screen and they would have seen us on the screen. And I think that's a lot better now than it was. Also, look at the speed that things happen now in terms of news and stuff like that. News has evolved. We got 24-hour news coverage now and online news coverage. We know what's happening almost as soon as it's happening. Which is much better than it was in our day when you had to wait for either the 1 o'clock, the 6 o'clock or the 9 o'clock news. And then look at technology. I had a Commodore 64, which at the time was amazing, but now look at what you've got now. And then Neil goes on to say, can you imagine doing this back in our day, what you're doing now, internet radio back in our day with a Commodore 64? Not really, Neil, because I had a BBC Micro. But no, I get what you're saying. Like back in the day, it would not have been possible by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, if you think the quality at which we stream is faster than the absolutely fastest dial-up internet that you ever could have had. And even then, if you go back to like when I was a kid, you didn't get dial-up internet anywhere near what you've got now. Although they've turned that off now, haven't they? But you know what I'm saying? Dial-up internet turned off at 56 kilobits a second. But I think when I was a kid, it was probably 14.4 kilobits a second. Can you imagine the quality if we had actually been able to stream anything back in those days and do internet radio? Neil, I reckon actually, do you know what? You've gone above and beyond. Thank you, Neil, for that with many examples. On air at atomradio.co.uk remains my email address if you'd like to get involved today. What was better in our day than it is in our kids' day, or indeed the other way round, as Neil has just gone on to prove. I think if we're being entirely fair, yesterday on Friday, what we kind of proved is that some things were much better back in the day than they are now. But then many things have evolved and have become better. And do you know what I will say as well? As a parent, I think children of today have it harder in terms of growing up and pressures and that than today's adults ever had back in their childhood. I just think it is a totally and utterly different world now. It's kind of scary because if you think like when we were children, did we predict what we'd have now? Probably not. Would you like to go forward and predict what the world will be like when your grandchildren become adults? It's a scary world. It's ever changing. Some of it is for the better and some of it is certainly and utterly not for the better. But on that note, thank you so much for checking out this week's podcast, The Best Bits of Breakfast. Episode 155 is a wrap. There you are. Make sure that you subscribe to this and then you'll get notified when next week's is out.
Atom Radio. the music you want to hear.
In the meantime, between now and next week's podcast, you can check out the show live Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 on atomradio.co.uk. Tune in, Radio Box, Streamer, Smart Speaker and iTunes Radio.